Welcome to the MLB Network Podcast presented by Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. I'm Adnan Virk. It's great to have you with us, and we've got a great guest today. He's a good friend of mine. In fact, one of the best friends in the business I've ever had. And some of the most that I've ever had is doing Change-Up on the Zone in this very studio. His name is Scott Rogowsky. He's a comedian, former host of HQ Trivia, the curator of Quiz Daddy's Closet, and nobody I know has ever known more about baseball cards than this guy. Rags time lives right now on the MLB Network Podcast. Scott Rogowsky. Rags, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, Adnan, I'm missing you, man. I'm missing you. I'm missing the studio. Look where I am right here. Do you understand? This isn't even my bedroom I'm calling you from. This is Toby and Marty's domicile here.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been kicked out of Secaucus, and I'm all the way back in Westchester, where I'm piecing my life slowly back together. It's still, I know it's been about 5 years since Change-Up went off the air, but it's taking me a little time to get my ducks in a row, finally.
Well, I was going to say, listen, I love the fact you're hanging out with your parents out there in Westchester, but let's get caught up today. People know you and love you, of course, from that incredible run you had on HQ Trivia. Our run, which I think was underseen, but I think the critics loved it. We definitely were, we're the equivalent of somebody who was great at Sundance when it came to Change-Up on DAZN. Unfortunately, curtailed due to the pandemic. But in the 6 years since then, again, you and I have remained great friends. What have you been up to, though?
In the 6 years, well, I've been up to a lot. I was in LA, back to New York, running a vintage clothing store.
Yeah,
I opened up for who knows why, but that was probably the most fun I've had in my post Change-Up career. A little pivot to retail, streaming services, retail stores. I don't know which one has a brighter future, but it turns out Quiz Daddy's lasted about 2 years, very successful, but it got tiring. And I really like the pace of our show. I like the pace of Change. A 6-month gig, you watch baseball all night, you're free during the day. This was like waking up early to get the store open. I got employees to deal with. I got people stealing stuff from me. I had a Kurt Warner sweatshirt. My first week I was open, I put out a rack of clothes outside the front in Santa Monica, Main Street in LA. Beautiful tourist destination. I'm thinking, what's wrong with putting out a little rack of clothes up front? Some guy walks by and swipes my Kurt Warner 1999 sweatshirt right off the back. And ever since then, I can't think about Santa Monica the same way. It kind of tainted the whole experience for me.
Well, you never have to worry about kleptomaniacs here when you're at MLB Network or working on DAZN. In fact, the only thing people were worried about is that we were stealing Harold Reynolds' mail. Harold wasn't opening his mail, so we would open it on there together. Thought it was a fun bit. Harold was totally fine with it. Generally, it was cards, which you didn't want going wasted. You wanted Harold to sign those cards and make sure that somebody got them. But one of the great reasons we got along so well was because of our chemistry. We would sit together in the same office, which, by the way, I've since had to vacate. We would go do the show together. We'd go eat together at Giovanni's in Secaucus, the chicken parlor.
Chicharrones.
We get the chicharrones from the Say Cafe, but we'd go get chicken parm as well from Giovanni's. And what I always appreciated you was just not only your sense of humor and your quick timing and the acerbic wit, but also just the talent for the written word. And again, people have to check out Rags' Substack. 340 are subscribing. I know 20 have paid for it.
376 now. I'm up to 376.
Like, listen, your command of the English language, it's incredible. Like, I read your stuff and I go, man, he's just such a great writer. Like, I had to look up what exegesis means. I go, every time, at least once or twice, I look up a word. I go, I think I kind of know it, but I like the way you flow with it. When you were doing this show, was that something that you really enjoyed, being able to use the English language for something you love so much, which is baseball?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if you remember this, but I was so amped up on our very first show, the opening day. I was writing a whole intro script I wanted to get in there. And, very quickly I was disabused of the notion that our show would be, A, watched by anyone, or B, the producers would care what I was doing. So it turned out we just mostly riffed and improvised that show. But I do like, as much as I like to riff and improvise, I do like spending time to craft, to sit with a paragraph, a turn of phrase. My uncle was reading my Substack and he goes, is your favorite comedian Dennis Miller? I said, actually,
yes.
No, not at
all. A
all.
lot of esoteric references, though, and very ornate language. That's a good reference by him.
Yeah. But, I don't know what it is. I love the SAT, the verbal SAT part. The math, not so much.
Yeah.
But I just like, look, in the beginning, there was the word, they say. That's all we have to communicate. We need words and language. It's the most important thing. And I want to use my words for good.
Where did this photographic memory and passion for baseball cards come from? Literally from 1986, I want to say, to 1996. You could not be stumped. Fleer, Donruss, Upper Deck, you knew it.
Well, it's very simple, and it's something in my now middle age, I've come to understand, why I do the things I do, why people in general do the things they do. I understand human behavior now. I understand what it means to have perspective and what frame of reference means. And basically, my entire world, from probably 4 or 5 years old till I'm going to be honest, probably about 14 or 15 years old, probably far too late into my adolescence when I should have been shifting the frame of reference towards girls and school.
Right.
It pretty much stayed right on baseball and baseball cards. So the reason why my memory is so good for that is because it was literally my entire world. I just focused my attention, my eyeballs on these cards, collecting them, sorting them, putting them in binders, alphabetizing them.
Yeah.
So I spent, it's embarrassing to think about, but it's probably, they say Malcolm Gladwell says 10,000 hours. I probably put 10,000 hours into just looking at these 3x5 portraits of grown men in tight pants. When you think about it.
Yeah, something that Jonathan Mayo could appreciate, I guess, that fascination with just staring at all these guys.
I was obsessed with the prospects. So like the Jonathan Mayo, we're a kindred soul because, we really have a thing for these young boys coming out of high school, and like an Arjun Nimala, for example.
Yeah, I love Arjun Nimala, yeah.
Arjun Nimala, to me, if I was 14 years old today, I'd be the biggest Arjun Nimala collector out. But back when I was 14, you know who the Arjun Nimala was for my era?
Who's that?
Carlos Fables.
Oh, yeah, Carlos Fables, former Royal, yeah. Him and Beltran together, yeah.
Juan LeBron. Forget Carlos Beltran. I was on the Juan LeBron train. I was on the Juan Encarnacion train. Okay? I was all aboard Arnold Gooch, who was a Mets pitcher who never got out of Double-A. Arnie Gooch, Adnan, look it up, 96 Bowman. These are real people.
Yeah.
Arnold Gooch probably exists. I hope he's still alive. I want to look this guy up on Facebook. Part of me wants to find these cardboard gods of my youth and find them on Facebook today, reach out to them, and reconnect. That's my podcast idea, Adnan.
Well, it's funny. We would always talk about not only your photographic memory with these cards and also your passion for baseball, but also, again, going off of the wordplay, just enjoying a good name. And you would say nothing would bring a smile more to my face than hearing you say Dowell Lugo or, talking about Boof Bonser. These are some great baseball names.
Boof Bonser. How about Buddy Groom? Early 90s Detroit. I can picture his. If you're going to give me an ID, please, 1993 Topps Buddy Groom. I can sear it into my memory.
Still to come here on MLB Network, the podcast. I'm going to ask Scott Rogowsky about his New York Mets fandom, his all-time favorite Met, and what he prefers more, the Tuffle Shuffle or the Soto Shuffle. That's next. MLB Network Podcast continues. If I throw out these names at you, Jon Stewart, Jerry Seinfeld, Hank Azaria, Scott Rogowsky, what do they have in common? All Jews. That's correct, but also all huge New York Mets fans. Rags, can you tell me, listen, you were born in '84, so only 2 years old when Doc Gooden and Ron Darling and the Mets celebrated that World Series, but what's your earliest memory of the Metropolitans?
Earliest memory of the Metropolitans, it's a weird one. It's like, it's getting the program at the game at Shea, and Bud Harrelson's face is staring back at me because he was the manager at the time.
Yes.
So there was a brief period where Bud Harrelson managed the New York Mets. It was like, I think, between the Davey Johnson eras. And I remember that program very well. It's probably 1989, 1990. But man, going to Shea, also meeting Tim Tuffle.
Yes.
So this was a Mets memory that takes place off the field.
Okay.
This was at a hardware store in Westchester, New York, Portchester, called Pergament, which is no longer there. Pergament. This just goes to show you how times have changed. This shopping center was anchored by Caldor, Pergament, and Waldbaum's. Today, those same stores are Kohl's, Target, and Whole Foods. The more things change, Adnan. But Tim Tuffle was doing a signing. He was doing a signing at this hardware store, and I showed up, and it was my first pro athlete I ever met. And he signed my little book that they were giving out. And I tell you, man, it made me a lifelong Tim Tuffle fan, the Tuffle Shuffle. And Tuffle, I met him years later. I told him this whole story. He could not care less.
No, I thought you were going to say he was so touched by it, but he completely blew you off. Yeah.
You know what I realized? It's so easy because I've been on the receiving end of people coming up to me now and telling me about how much HQ meant to them and how they met their significant other at a bar playing HQ, or how they started dating and they got married around HQ. A lot of people have a very strong emotional connection to the game that I hosted.
Right.
And when people tell me this, I really take it in and oh my God, thank you so much. That really means a lot to hear. I'm so glad. And I ask them their name and I really take that time just to give them that moment. But it turns out with some other people, when you try to share an emotional memory, either they have, is it true that Tim Tuffle has just too many people coming up to him?
That's what I'm saying. In due respect, and I like Tim Tuffle, but I would think he'd be more touched by that. It's not exactly Mike Piazza, but
it could be a personality difference. He could
sure.
be the kind of guy who just goes, "Oh, no, thanks." Yeah.
Who was your favorite all-time Met? Is it Tuffle? It's got to be somebody else. Maybe.
Well, now it's Luis Angel Acuna.
Wow.
Because the day that he was traded it was Scherzer, I believe. It was a straight-up deal, and I tell you, when that deal went through, me thinking I was intelligent, thinking I had one over on everybody, and also not being a gambling man. I don't bet.
Yeah.
I don't do fantasy. I don't, so I don't have that kind of stake in the game that a lot of fans do. But I'm a card collector. So on the day that trade went through, I went to eBay and I bought what I thought was the best value at the time, gem mint, perfectly graded, autographed rookie card, numbered to 50. Of Luis Angel Acuna, and this is Ronald Acuna's brother, okay? So I'm thinking, and by the way, he was tearing up the minor leagues. He was traded 1-for-1 for Scherzer. So I'm thinking this guy could be, if he's even half as good as Ronald Acuna, we have a nice prospect here. I paid $1,500, Adnan.
Oh, what?
That was my bet.
Oh.
I spent more on this card than I spent on the ring for my fiance. And this card is now my albatross because, God bless Luis. He came up last year. He was so hot. And I was like, I got to sell the card.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the damn thing. I still can't find it. I think it's in Los Angeles somewhere in storage. So, I'm taking the loss at this point because after those 3 home runs last September, he's got nothing in the yardstick department. So it's disappointing. I'm also thinking back to when we were hosting Change-Up, Adnan. Reminded me of what I used to do when we would be watching these games and
whenever there's a rookie, because you told me, so the value is only in rookie cards. If a rookie came up, had a 2-for-3, I'm buying that card immediately.
Yes. And this was like, we were getting the inside information too, right? We were seeing who was doing well in the minor leagues. This is a memory.
You were all in on Chris Paddock of the Padres. He has not worked out to that level.
Yes.
You love Chris Paddock. I remember that.
Griffin Canning, who now is a Met. I bought Griffin Canning. Ryan Mountcastle, Alec Boehm, Austin Riley. Thank goodness I got out of those and made little money. But Casey Mize. Do you remember when Casey Mize he threw a no-hitter in Double-A in 2019, and we got word right over the wire. Breaking news: Casey Mize, no-hitter. Dude, I swear, is this insider trading so soon?
Yeah.
I went on eBay instantly from the studio on our computer, and I bought a Casey Mize autograph card. Ended up flipping that one, the next day. So yeah, I had some decent trades, but the Luis Angel Acuna wiped out all my gains.
$1,500, that's crazy. I've been telling you, I've been buying Topps packs for my kids, $6 a pack. And I don't know if this is worth it, but this is a steal compared to what you paid.
I'll tell you what, it's not.
You went to the same high school as Pedro Alvarez and Harrison Bader, who you christened the Master. You were also captain of the baseball team. What memories do you have there?
My goodness. So I didn't overlap with Bader, but Pedro, El Penguino, we called him.
The Penguin.
I don't know why. I called him the Penguin. Yeah, I think he had these crackers. I think only I called him that because he had these cookies, these crackers from the Dominican that were called the Penguinos. And he was my Penguino. But he was my third baseman / shortstop when I was playing first base. And he was a pretty pudgy kid as a freshman, 14-year-old coming to this new school. And I tell you, man, I never thought a freshman would be able to just fire a ball across the diamond so fast. And I'm playing first and I'm catching these balls. I thought I had some padding in my glove. That thing stung every single time I got that sting in my hand. I almost broke a couple bones in there.
Wow.
Just the amount of the firepower on his arm as a freshman in high school. And then to see him, I remember this is a great memory. There was one day when, I don't know, he was late to the practice or didn't show. The coach grounded him, did not start him. Obviously, he was a daily, everyday starter. But on this particular day, he did not start. So what happens when he comes into the game later on? First pitch, boom, 400 feet, just like into the bushes. We're playing on Randall's Island in New York, like by the railroad trestles. It's just unbelievable. Second time at bat, first pitch, boom, another one. Third time at it was a Reggie Jackson moment. 3 dingers, just first. It was extraordinary. Extraordinary. And again, I'm like, that's what I'm like, okay, this kid is actually probably going to go pro. I had never played with anybody at that level, who was going to go pro. And to that, he was the first player in our 140-year history of our high school to even get drafted by a major league team. He went 2 overall in 2008, number 2. He won freshman player of the college player of the year at Vanderbilt. I mean, he was just a lights out player in high school and college, and the big leagues, man. I mean, he got up there. He was an all-star in 2013. I'm one of the biggest Pedro Alvarez fans you'll find. Tied for the home run lead in 2013 with who?
God, you're going back a ways now.
And here's the crazy thing. You know how many home runs it was? Just 36 was the NL lead for home runs in 2013. It was Pedro Alvarez tied with Paul Goldie Goldschmidt.
Wow. Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Pedro Alvarez, El Penguino. You think of Ron Say, known as the Penguin, Danny DeVito, and now Pedro Alvarez as well. Great Penguins of our time, including March of the Penguins. We'll march ahead here on MLB Network Podcast. Come back with Rapid Fire with Scott Rogowsky up next.
The farmer's dog thinks about your dog every day because their goal is to help them live a long, healthy life. Their food is developed by a team of board-certified vet nutritionists. Unlike most pet foods, the farmer's dog is made to human-grade standards. It's gently cooked without the ultra-processing and portioned for easy weight management. Because sure, good ingredients matter, but the best recipes call for so much more. Get 50% off your first box of the official pet food of Major League Baseball at thefarmersdog.com/MLB. That's thefarmersdog.com/MLB.
Just like Al Pacino in the Billy Friedkin film Cruising, we're cruising right now with Scott Rogowsky and finish up with some rapid fire rags. What's the best vintage piece of clothing you own?
The yellow hanky that Pacino wore in Cruising. His back pocket. I actually bought it at auction. My new centerpiece of my collection.
How about a vintage piece that would be a dream to own?
A dream. You know what kind of dream? It's Sunday morning here, Adnan, and we should talk about a piece that I like to slip into every Sunday morning when I wake up and have my coffee, I read the paper. A Vladimir Guerrero 1999 Montreal Expos jersey.
Yes.
I'll mix it up with a Brad Wilkerson game used jersey that I got signed by Brad Wilkerson at the 2018 All-Star game in D.C. He signed at the last Expo because he actually was the last person who was an Expo to play in the major leagues. True story.
Think of that. People talk about Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, Damon Wayans, Bruce Willis, The Last Boy Scout, and The Last Expo, Brad Wilkerson. The Tuffle Shuffle or the Soto Shuffle? Which do you prefer?
It's got to be Tuffle for me. The nostalgic. Yes. I mean, it's my first love. Soto. I'm still coming around to, as a lot of Mets fans are. But no, Soto's going to be the guy long run here, unless Luis Angel Acuna kicks things up a notch.
One game in baseball history you wish you could be in the stands for.
Wow, there's that. I just saw it get passed around on Instagram or something. It's from like the 1980s. I think it was a Mets Braves game that went. It was
the Robin Ventura game? No,
it was like from the. It just was one of the longest games. But do I want to actually go to a long game in the 80s?
Rick Camp game?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
The Rick Camp. Yes, the pitcher home run game. Yes, Rick Camp. That would be pretty absurd. But no, it would be cool. I think, and it's the kind of thing that. If I can go back in time and do it from the perspective of now and have the knowledge I have now, wouldn't it be cool to go to Cal Ripken Jr.'s first game?
Yeah.
Very first game. And tell everybody there, you see this guy playing short? He's literally going to be there for the next 21 years, nonstop.
Right. That's actually not a bad idea. I would go Braves Twins, that 1991 World Series, Game 7, Morrison Smoltz, and I would just bet the under. I tell everybody, you know what? Bet the under. I'm taking the over on strikeouts. Favorite comedian of all time? This is a tough one. Got to name just one. Favorite comedian of all time? Pryor.
Jesus, no, it's not going to be Pryor. It's going to be, oh, man, you're putting me in the
Gilbert Gottfried.
I think Dave Attell.
Yes.
Dave Attell, because for a couple of things. One, I mean, his album Skanks for the Memories is just one of the funniest things ever. I played that till it ran out of its grooves. Yeah. But he's also the kind of guy. I mean, I can name someone from the past, sure, but he's someone I've gotten to see live multiple times, especially in the Comedy Cellar, close up, and no one does it better at 2 a.m. at the Comedy Cellar than Dave Attell.
And you once produced a comedian CD. Remember you gave me that CD?
Tom McCaffrey is one of my favorites,
Yes.
too. He's probably my favorite comedian that probably no one's heard of, but Tom McCaffrey, check him out on Spotify. The album I produced for him is still up there. It's one of the funniest things ever recorded to tape.
Great bit on Matthew Broderick. You got to listen to that. Who's your favorite player in the game to watch right now?
Favorite player in the game to watch right now? Can I keep mentioning Luis Angel Acuna just to pump up the value of this card? I'm so this is how you pump and dump. It's classic.
Right.
No, I mean I think I was going to mention Brett Beatty because I like the people who I'm closest to, personally. But if we're talking about exciting, truly exciting, Ellie is pretty electric.
Nice.
I think just what he can do on all sides of the ball and the speed and the power and he's the kind of guy that I think, I always try to think when a new crop comes up, like who's going to be the one that really sticks it out and really becomes the future Hall of Famer, right? Because so many guys come and go and they get hot and they flame out. But I think Ellie could be that guy.
Ellie De La Cruz definitely is a special guy. Make sure you check out Rogo's Modern Life. That is Scott Rogowsky's Substack. He's prolific. It's incredibly funny, incredibly talented. He pumps it out all the time. It's so great. Rags, this was so much fun catching up. And let's close with this. A day without baseball is a day wasted. Smile.
Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off!